So we move on to the next speaker. Now we'll have Sergio representing Mínimo Común. Mínimo Común Architecture is a Paraguayan architecture studio founded in 2016 by three partners, Solanito, Vera, and Sergio, who, after working for several years during academic training with architects such as Solano Benitez and José Cubilla, decide to get together to mix the years of learning and face the corporation professional work. Following a line of thought, design and experimental construction marked by the Gabinete de Arquitectura as the main mentor. Mínimo Común Arquitectura works as a platform for the realization of projects from the beginning, aware of the strengths of the community. They seek to partner to support each other based on trust. The office seeks to be a place of study and experimentation, to be able to create an intelligent architecture and for everyone with simple materials and local labor. So, directly from Paraguay, Sergio.
¿Se escucha? Sí. Esto es. No. Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. First, I can thank the organization for inviting me and making it possible for me to be here today. Tiago and Filipa, muito obrigado. I am Sergei. I am part of Mínimo Común Arquitectura. And now I try to speak in English, and you try to understand me, please. I come from the South America, the heart of South America. We say we are an island surrounded of land. Our neighbors are giants, Brazil, Argentina, and Bolivia. We can be a city in those countries. I'm going to talk a little about our climate. We don't have earthquakes or tornadoes or any natural accident, but we have a lot of tropical rains, and our weather is very hot, and every year it gets hotter. The temperature is 40 degrees the media, but the feeling is from the hell. In Paraguay, my country, is made up of 21 nations, original nations, the native people. That is why the population in 90% speak in two languages. Guarani is the native idiom, and Spanish is from the conquered idioms. The Guarani had a particular economic system, the Guaraníes. They use yopoi, and in Guarani it means give on open hand. And we can translate how I give you the better of me, for you can give me the better of you. Without money, without materials, it's only the better of me and the better of you. This is how they live until now, and much more sustainable than all of us. Unfortunately for us, the Guarani people are discriminated. People with economic, social, or political power steal their lands and kill them, because over the time, the society grows, and we all speak a new idiom, the many idioms. But the best thing we did as a society, technology advance, medicine, architecture, engineering, continue to condemn a large part of humanity to live in poverty. In Paraguay, 30% of the population live in poverty. Poverty is live with $3 per day. And the people without access to housing is 15%. And if they have a house, it is very vulnerable. This is Chacarita neighborhood, one of the most poor places in Asunción, capital of the city of the Paraguay. We believe the world is in crisis, but the crisis is the lack of imagination to see a new way of construction of the life. And at Mínimo Común, we try to imagine new models with resources that we have at hand. And this is our team. It's made of Solanito Benitez, Veronica Villate, and me, Sergei Merlo. But the people who work with us are more numerous. In 2016, we had our first job. Our office is young. And an old house in a state of collapse. Some pictures of the initial state, humidity, a little fire, and how the house was in a state of collapse. We demolished the house. No, we demolished a part of the house. In first place, we changed the structure because the walls supported the roof. And the second, we threw down the walls. And we used the same broken bricks to build the new walls. We used formworks to construction. And we did not change the roof, we only restructured the house. And this is how the result. We win new textures, new colors, new airs, new lights, new space. We only changed the interior. This is a contrast. All windows now are new doors. And the old house was the new material for the new house. And this is another example of our work with waste or demolition material. In this case, we do all interior with all broken bricks for a demolitioned house. In the terrain, we had an old construction collapse. And we use all of broken bricks for do the house. The roofing B can collect the rainwater and only buy bricks for the exterior. In 2017, we have our second project. And in this time, we had not all bricks to build. But the most cheaper material in Paraguay is the common brick. The cost is, for one, is 0.05 euros. And no one use this raw brick because the people say it is ugly and shabby. And our wish on this occasion is improve the production and show the material is only part of the construction, and we have creativity, we can build good things. We again use formworks to construction, zigzag formworks because para ganar inercia, for win inertia, because the walls have only 4 centimeters. And in this occasion, we use the common brick for all. Its floor, its walls, windows, and roof. Maybe it's a little exaggeration, we know, but we reduce the concrete and price. We always try to introduce in vegetation in algunos lugares, and painting walls in white for reflects the light. And this is Casa J. When you go to buy bricks in Paraguay, the bricks come in a big truck. And the time to down from the truck 20,000 bricks is only 2 hours. But in use, the same number of bricks in a build is 5 or 6 weeks. And the question is, how can we build with the same time? This is how down from the truck, the bricks. And in this house, we build it with the cheaper systems. We didn't start construction thinking about that. And we started, and the owner ran out of money. Some bricks we have paid, but now we need to finish the construction in record time and record price too. We use the same the construction system like the ladrillero, the people who we buy the bricks. And the cost of this house was $10,000. Today be $8,000. The house have 65 square meters. The cost for a small flat like J house in Asunción is $70,000. No, $70,000. And this is impossible to pay for 90% in Paraguay. That is because the dirty money from narco-traffic and corruption with the real estate speculation regulate the market. We use all material in raw, all oxide metal for doors, concrete for floors and the structure. And in this case, we use less concrete, less brick in less time, and in consequence, less money. And now I want to present a job for Ibero-American Architecture and Urbanism Bienal. It was in Asunción. We work with Entre Nos Atelier de Costa Rica, Michael y Ale, two friends. This is Great Asunción, have 2,500,000 people. And this is the Chacarita neighborhood. The Chacarita have a lot of problems, gentrification, inundation, poverty, but social exclusion and discrimination are the worst. We work in Amapola Square, a site between Resistencia Soccer Stadium and Caballero Park. The location, the Amapola Square is strategic for the Chacarita residents, and it's a place to connect a stadium, park, and the rest of Asunción. And so a lot of people use the Amapola Square, but no one stay in squares for fear to be stolen. Amapola is a corridor, a little bit more big than other street in Chacarita. Corridor is correct. And all the Chacarita is comprehended by corridors. And when you find a site when sunlight and winds, where you can sit and rest, it is a new square. Some pictures from the side. You can see the high walls for fear. The square has 4 exits, and so it is the perfect point from escape the police. The people still in outside of the city run to the side and disappear. But before drawing anything or think anything, we analyzed 2 new great revolutions in Paraguay. The first is the motorcycle. In a country where the basic services are a privilege, the motorcycle allows more people to move and approach the service. And it's a problem too, but it's a solution for the catastrophic public transport system. And the second revolution is the internet. The remittance for the Paraguay are very important for the economy. More than 1 million people live in other countries and send dollars for their family. In Paraguay, 89% have a smartphone, but only 43% have internet. And in the Chacarita, there was no internet because it's very expensive. And all need internet for education, work, talking with family living in another country. We believe internet must be a universal right. And obviously, the project was installed internet. con unas cosas más. Internet protection, benches, un graffiti shadow for the sun. But the first thing was to talk to the neighbors, and all people told us the place was dangerous. We can take computers, projectors, celulares, and getting together at night is crazy, but we did. And this meeting was the first brick in the construction because we had an excellent meeting until midnight and no one was afraid. The neighbors believed in the project. For us, it's very important. The people use the place, use the square. We need to regain the social control. We need the neighbors in the street. Need the children stay in Amapola to do their homeworks. We need as many people as possible because the people are the security. The project was simple: shadow for thermic comfort, benches, electricity for charge their phones or computers. We hate the renders. No. And we explained the project to mobile phone company for the installation of internet free. And they say yes for lucky. And we talked to a famous graffiti artist in Paraguay about a mural. The painting was idea of the neighbors. They want a beautiful paint in the square. But we think a new concept of mural, and we convert the paint in pixels with QR codes. And every QR code is a free book ready to download with the free internet. We organize work days with neighbors and friends and teach our construction system. We put the bricks on the ground like a puzzles. And in the way, everyone can help. Children, adults, no matter. It was funny, it was like playing. This is Amapola Square. A lot of people visit the place. Today have plants. People download the books and read the books. And the kids can use at night now. And 1 year before, we built Nordeste office in the same way. For us, it's important because we use the same knowledge for all people, no matter if have money or no. And if we can build Nordeste office, they can build too. Nordeste is an experiment with bricks. We repeat the system, we put the bricks on the floor and put together later. And we use a lot this system because it's easy. Anyone can do. No need special workers or technology. It's only put in the floor and later put together again. Mix the structure with the bricks and generate the office. We leave the unique tree in the plot inside the office. The walls are of 4 centimeters again, and involved all office like a house of cards. Okay, understand. In 2019, we changed everything we did in the last 4 years and start a new vision of our architecture. This image is from the Triple Alianza War, and in 1865, Paraguay was at war against Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. But I want to show the architecture. They use two roofs, one to shade the second roof and one to close the space. Again, the shade, the shadow. The shade was the most important thing to survive the extremely hot weather. And this is the first construction on Brasilia, capital of Brazil. Again, a shade over the roof because Brasilia was built in a desert. And Paraguay and the desert is the same, but with trees. And in this time, we need to build in the middle of nowhere. Curuguatú is a city 300 kilometers to Asunción. The economy is depend from agriculture. We can see the green sea, no trees, no animals, only soja. And for the hot weather, the first thing we built was the roof. We can only bring materials cannot be broken because the road is complicated and long. We bought a duck. This duck is special because it's earth and poops bricks. A lot of bricks. At the same time, we did the roof and bricks, earth bricks. For the roof, we use density of steel ropes for save the 45-meter distance. But low, very, 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 very low cost. We taking advantage of the catenary. The rainwater is collected, allowing to be reused. All this earth. And for the exterior, we build a parasol of earth bricks too, but in this time without cement. We use a little bit of cement in the other bricks, but in this case, completely without cement, because we will erase the bricks with water, leaving only the lines of mortar, because it was going to happen over the time with the rain. We made to a homemade system refrigeration. And the water is pumped to the highest point of the roof, fall again, distribute all the roof, and generate a circuit. The circuit generates a microclimate, and it's cool and can generate humidity. Pictures. We expect the plants aid the building. It's a line in the landscape. In 2019, again, a friend called us because need help with a community in Limpio City. She was part of the ONG Techo para mi país. This ONG build house for people with limited resources, but in this opportunity, the community want to build a little chapel. Limpio is near to Asunción, 1 hour approx. And 1,000 people live in the community San Cayetano. And there is where we designed the chapel. The project was not ambitious, a couple of walls and a simple roof, because we have condition for construction. The first condition, we have no money. The second, the people of the community must build. In the third, the people can only build on Sundays. And we had more, but this is more important. At this point is when we say, what the fuck, OMG. And we start an investigation for self-construction or vernacular systems. We experiment with rammed earth, but the reality is that rammed earth system for us is very slow. And if they only build on Sundays, they never finish. And for more speed, we can buy electric pistons, special formworks, earth sieves, and many other tools, but we had no money. We began to think it is not possible for the architecture or for the alternative architecture be only for people with money. We had the earth for material, we had workers, we have architects, but we cannot build. Until we land the pured earth, this technique have a lot of years, but in Paraguay never we saw. This is in Mexico, the first registered construction with pured earth. Quere used to. In France, have an industry. But we start with the small, 1 square meter. We can use formworks, fabricate with other woods. We did resistance tests because we didn't know anything. But the results were very good. The resistance is like common bricks. With bricks, we are expert. We did bigger modulos. And when we're ready for a start, the first build with pured earth, for legal problems with the land, the chapel is cancelled. But the good news were some friends were ready to build his house with the same material. In 2021 was born Lucian Pablo House. We modulate our house in base on commercial woods. And in that moment, we have a little bit money. And with the formwork workers are very faster. We use a mixer, a simple mixer, and after charge the formworks. And only 1 day before we retire the formworks, we have a pured air wall. We can do 7 square meters per day with small teams. We did was with 15 centimeters. Cover the walls is very important. For earth construction, they only need 2 items, good shoes and a good hat, because the rain and the water is the enemy, are the enemy. We built a roof garden, and windows are the space between the walls, no more. We didn't do the old house with earth because we were afraid. It is the first time with the technique, and we have responsibilities with the owners, Lucian Pablo. The right side is with earth, the left side is without earth. Some vegetation to renew the air. Okay. We said living in this house is like living in a cave. It's cool, it's cozy, and it smells like a freshly watered grass. It is our first experience with Pure Earth, but we know this is not the limit. There are infinite possibilities to do. But the best for finish is the Chapelle started 2 months ago and go very good. We can confirm the material system is ready to self-construction, it's fast, it's cheaper than traditional builds. It's just changed the air from solid to liquid to solid again. They work from community, from works hard, everything. And for now, it's work. And soon we are going to have the second construction with Pure Earth in Paraguay, but this time will be its own users. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergei. We can move to the chairs maybe for some questions.
Okay.
So we're going to have time for some questions for Sergio from the audience.
Who have questions?
Yeah, we have one there. So if you can take the mic. First of all, I have to say you told us that you were afraid in Luce and Pablo house. But after your presentation, you are very, very brave. You're the bravest guys I ever seen. Working in Paraguay and doing this work is really amazing. So, the question? Deve estar ligado.
Sim?
Sim.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sergei, for an amazing presentation. I have two questions. So first of all is, how is your team composed? Because you are not only an architect, you also have builders, and so how does it work? Because you also all of a sudden using new materials, so material engineers. How does this work?
If you need translation, Marta can help.
Creo que sí. I can
Yeah, in Spanish.
in Spanish.
Yeah.
Bueno, por suerte somos tres, porque nos lleva mucho tiempo estar en obra. O sea, nuestra oficina es the half part in the office and the half part en la obra. Y así, solo con mucho tiempo y mucha paciencia para tratar de llevar a cabo los proyectos. Because en Paraguay no alcanza solo con ser arquitecto. El rubro de la arquitectura no está bien reconocido ni remunerado. Entonces, la mayoría de los arquitectos en Paraguay son constructores también.
Hello. Thank you very much for explaining that, because I worked here in an office called SCRE, where the intention was to do the same, but yeah, we had to bring material engineers during the process. That made up the team. And the second question I have is, in terms, you also do private projects and you also do public projects. How do you make it work? I mean, at the end, the office needs money, and how do you work out the ratio of, do you say 50 or 60% is private projects and then 40% is public projects? I'm quite curious. I mean, how does it work?
Hacemos proyectos públicos solo cuando tenemos la oportunidad. En Paraguay hay muchas oportunidades de hacerlo, no únicamente con el Estado, sino hay mucha gente con necesidad que se acerca a uno. Y cuando tenemos esa posibilidad y tenemos el tiempo para hacerlo, lo hacemos con mucho gusto. Nuestra investigación en nuestros proyectos privados tratamos de repetirla en los proyectos públicos. Si trabajamos con los bloques de ladrillos para hacer las oficinas, trabajamos con los mismos bloques de ladrillo porque creemos que es una técnica que funciona para todos. Y lo mismo pasa con la tierra. En este caso se dio a la inversa. Primero era para la construcción pública, digamos, y después era para la casa. Pues se suspendió lo público porque siempre hay ese tipo de problemas. Entonces construimos la casa, probamos el material y el mismo material lo llevamos. No hay un porcentaje que digamos la mitad y la mitad o no. We are three, atropellamos todo.
Hello? Well, thank you very much, for the explanation. And yeah, I can't wait to see more projects of yours in the future. Thank you.
There, in the middle, there was another question.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentations. It was magnificent. I have two questions. The first one is in the brick buildings that you do. Do you use concrete structure, or you do also everything with the bricks in the resistant part?
We mix sometimes use concrete for a structure, and sometimes we use only bricks for structure.
And when you use only bricks, which is the thickness of the walls you normally use?
The norm is 20.
Mm-hmm.
But in case we did for 15.
Sometimes more. I think an important point is that in Paraguay there's no regulation at all, so you can do whatever you want.
You can experiment a lot.
Yes, have regulation, but no control.
Very well. The second question is really a curiosity. It's about that curved roof you've shown us. Have you done it before or after Cisa and Lord Sutmore?
I think it was before, but it's still.
No, yeah.
So, any more questions in the audience?
There.
There.
Boa tarde, eu vou fazer a pergunta em português, portanto depois tenho que traduzir. A minha questão tem a ver com, sendo as técnicas e os métodos que usam tão adequados para resolver problemas como são os problemas sociais graves que existem no Paraguai, eu pergunto é se não se conseguem articular e ter uma resposta social para esses problemas. Porque também vimos nos exemplos que quando passam, e como estava a dizer, quando passam do privado para o público, há algumas técnicas e métodos que conseguem utilizar e que fazem todo sentido na resolução desses problemas sociais.
Do you want translation? Did you get it?
Si podemos conseguir fondos de...
Why can't you go from your solutions in the private projects and apply it to solve it as the general social problems of the country that are evident in your presentation? What's stopping this from happening?
Do you need it in Spanish?
Uf, no le escucho nada. No te escucho nada, Marta.
You can take the mask. No fundo, o que é que impede de aplicar as soluções que são tão boas e que funcionam nos projetos do Sério, como vimos, e o que é que impede de as aplicar numa grande escala que resolva os problemas sociais do país, do Paraguai, que tem problemas grandes e evidentes? Não é?
Ya. Y nosotros en la oficina creemos que son soluciones realmente, por eso las investigamos. Lo hacemos justamente por hacer una solución social más que otra cosa. Después acompaña el resto de cuestiones arquitectónicas que estamos hablando aquí. Pero la burocracia en Paraguay es muy difícil. No tenemos ese acercamiento a los poderes o al gobierno. Y somos muy malos haciendo lobby también. Pero creemos, o sea, también creemos que la difusión de nuestro trabajo va a hacer que llegue a más personas para que se puedan autoconstruir o que llegue alguna autoridad de alguna manera y nos diga, hey, ¿podemos hacer esto? Y sí, claro.
So,
Here
one
in
more
the-
question here in the
here.
front.
I have to cannot speak Spanish. Maybe I'll have to translate. It was already asked. The question of regulation, and I would like to extend this question to costs because it sounds cynical, but if I could wish something out of my regulated and rich context, I would ask for complete deregulation. But of course, it's as a neoliberal agenda is not the best moment in time but it has some reasons. And then I would like to have the cost of the basic material exploding, because with these two things you could, encourage innovation. Try things, and then I look at what you do, and it's beautiful. It's daring and so on, and it's exactly this, But it's in a complex where poverty is real. It's not an artificial poverty in order to end the regulation. Is the absence of rules. It's probably not a much appreciated things. This is from how you speak of it. It's not really an advantage not having rules. How do you think about this? So if you could change things now just overnight in Paraguay, what would you change then? Would you think that is this rule, absence of rule that you characterize as not being the absence of rule, but being the absence of the respect of rules, what is very different things? Would you keep it like this in order to allow for your architecture to continue to grow, or would you wish some standards and very clear rules? It's a bit complex, yeah.
¿Percebeste a pergunta?
Ujú. It's a good question. No, para nosotros experimentar, obviamente se vuelve una ventaja no tener tantas regulaciones, ¿verdad? Pero si con las regulaciones vienen mayor alcance social o ese tipo de cuestiones, regulemos todo y que todos tengan su casa y que todos tengan su parque, donde salir, las calles. La falta de regulaciones también es un problema porque se dejan de hacer muchas cosas. Y se tratan de hacer otras que burocráticamente te dicen que no. Y si recibís un no, para hacer cosas grandes por lo menos, es no. Y son batallas que duran años y años. Para hacer el borde del río, the river border, tardaron 25 años. Se proyectó en 1990 obviously, cuando terminó, estaba desfasado en el tiempo, ya no, o sea, cambiaron todos los paradigmas. Entonces creo que hay regulaciones buenas y siempre y cuando uno pueda demostrar que lo que hace funciona, me parece que estaría bien poder regular ciertas cosas.
Okay, thank you. So, any more questions? No?
No, at the moment not.
So, yeah.
So,
We call it here. Okay, we have one more surprise question.
Hola, voy a intentar hablar en español. Las presentaciones que hemos escuchado estos días me hacen pensar que para hacer arquitectura sostenible tienes que hacer también no solo mucha investigación, como también montar tu propio equipo de construcción, tu empresa de construcción. ¿Crees que el papel del arquitecto va a cambiar? No solo hacer proyecto, como también hacer construcción, las dos cosas, en el futuro.
Lo que pasa es que nuestro trabajo como arquitectos ya es hacer proyectos y hacer construcción. It's the normal for us. Deception is the architect only project and other company build. No sé si va a cambiar en el futuro eso, o sea, realmente no creo que cambie porque los roles son muy diferentes, pero en cuanto a la necesidad van a ir surgiendo este tipo de alternativas.
So, another question there?
There.
Thank you so much for your presentation. It was very fun to watch. I just have a question that continues some of the previous questions. What you are doing seems to be very well suited for small personal projects and community projects. Do you ever think that you want to do a public project, something like a library or a school, or did you get the chance? Because there the challenges are different. You even mentioned there even regulation is stricter and you have to deal with much more bureaucracy. Did you have to do this, or are you doing this now, or you are completely avoiding that scale because it could make your work impossible?
Sí, sí, sí.
Puede empezar en español si prefieres.
Mejor.
Pues su trabajo de mínimo común parece como un estilo de pensar y diseñar muy compatible con estructuras personales pequeñas, con casas, con proyectos para comunidades urbanas pequeñas. Pero ¿habéis intentado diseñar o proponer algo mucho más largo, como en una escala pública, como una escuela o una biblioteca? Porque pienso que las dificultades de un problema, de un proyecto como eso, son muy diferentes. El nivel de burocracia, las reglas que hay que seguir, que no se pueden evitar si vas a construir una escuela, y alguna relación con el poder político que probablemente no existe. Pues, ¿habéis intentado hacer un proyecto en esta escala o crees que es mejor evitarlo porque no te deja hacer tu trabajo en la manera que quieres, que deseas?
No, sí, siempre pensamos en eso, en tratar de llegar a una mayor escala o a mayor cantidad de personas. Todavía no tuvimos la oportunidad, lastimosamente, pero sí creemos que capaz no desde el ámbito privado, público, perdón, podamos hacer algo así por el momento, pero desde el ámbito privado yo creo que de alguna manera sí podríamos llegar a construir o escuelas o complejos de habitación y obviamente seguimos desarrollando las técnicas, no están terminadas, siempre empezamos con 1 metro cuadrado y de ahí tratamos de expandir a lo que sea necesario en la oportunidad que nos toque.
So, one last question? No? So, yeah, okay. One more question there, yeah? No, sorry. So, we had the presentation here. Thank you a lot,
Thank
Sergei.
you.
It was really great to have you here from Paraguay, amazing. We're going to do a very quick break, and we'll be back at 4:30 for the next presentation, so you can take a coffee and get some air. See you soon.
Thank you.
It was amazing.